Hey everybody, the Mana Traders series this month is going to be Pioneer, and if you want to participate in the absolute best online tournament series going on in Magic right now, you can sign up to get a Mana Traders rental subscription using code A22EN_FT9. And once you're signed up, you get access to renting cards for Moto anytime you want, and then you also are entered into this tournament where you can win up to $4,000 cash just playing a one-day event in a monthly tournaments. This is every month you get a chance to win this money. And yeah, if you'd sign up and support the channel, I'd really appreciate it. See you guys later, and let's get to some content. Welcome everybody to another episode of Making Magic Happen, brought to you by RW Housing Games, Livonia, Michigan. I'm Zach, and today I want to keep working on Grixis. I'm pretty sad about how the first video went, and I wanted to make the deck good. Like, I want to figure out the right way to do it. So these are the changes I've come up with. One, Archmage's Charm got out real quick. That thing is so gone. I like Archmage's Charm. It's a good card when you're like close to one color with a splash, sort of how blue and white tend to be, or blue red like Blue Moon would tend to be. Significantly worse when I'm trying to cast a red black spell. Just was a little aggro, just a little bit. So that's gone. And I've also cut the Mishra's Baubles in favor of 2 Nile Spellbombs main. That might be worse, but it has the benefit of giving me more sideboard space, which is cool. So we'll see how that goes. I've also added Sulfur Falls to the deck. I cut the Cascade Bluffs. It never really came up that the Filter Land mattered even with the Archmage's Charm. So now that the Archmage's Charms are out, I'd rather just have a land that can tap for mana by itself. It's like super awkward that Cascade Bluffs makes you like leave up 2 mana to use it, especially in a deck that has, I don't know, 12 1-mana spells in it. Like, you don't really want to be leaving up 2 mana to cast a 1-mana spell in Modern. You can't really afford to do that. This is Modern. Decks are cheap here. Every mana spent matters. The other card that I thought was pretty bad was Valky. We did cast the Tybalt half once, and it did win the game, which is not surprising because it's a 7-mana Planeswalker, and those probably win the game when you cast it in Modern. See Karn Liberated, for example. Yeah, you can just go back and watch Game 3 and watch me insta-concede to Karn Liberated. Okay, so that one's out. Instead, we have Young Pyromancer here, which may or may not be good. I don't know. I'm theorizing it's going to be good. It's entirely possible it's very much not good. I don't know. I'm going to find out. I want to test it. So that's where I'm at with the threats. I have also added 2 Drowning the Locks over the Dreadbore and a Lightning Bolt, and more Thought Scours. I still think Thought Scour is terrible. I'm not a fan of the card, but I needed more stuff for Force Negation. I started getting to the point where this deck was like all red and black splashing Cryptic Command and Factor Fiction, which was an interesting build, but it's not that far away right now from that. So, yeah. So I wanted more blue cards for my Force of Negations, because I do think Force of Negation is good. It is entirely possible you could build it the way I just mentioned, where the only blue cards in the deck are Snapcaster, Cryptic, and Factor Fiction. And instead of Force of Negation, you have things like Inquisition of Kozilek or maybe Thoughtseize in the main deck. I think that's very reasonable. But I want to try this first. I want to see how Young Pyromancer feels. I actually think there's a real chance I'm supposed to play 3 Pyromancers just to be able to draw it more. In fact, I kind of don't hate that. I might just switch it now and cut something. I don't know what. But I could definitely see that. But yeah, I mean, that's where we're at. The sideboard, basically the same, but because I moved 2 Nile Spellbombs main instead of having them in the board, I had room for an extra Cleansing Wildfire and an extra Thoughtseize, which, you know, is small, but like, you saw me lose to Tron in the last league, and 4 Cleansing Wildfires matters in that matchup. I could see 3 still being fine-ish. Maybe it's not. I don't know. I can see 3 still being fine, though. And I could maybe fit like another Feed the Swarm or another Aether Gust in there. All of those make sense to me. I think the next card I would add is an Aether Gust. I also wanted one more piece of Graveyard Hate, kind of. Yeah, I think this should be an Aether Gust the more I think about it, because this deck is going to be just absolutely awful against Burn, like many orders of magnitudes bad. just 0%. And so the Aether Gust. So now we have 4 Aether Gusts and an extra Spellbomb. I kind of would like a 4th Spellbomb, because I imagine this deck is also just atrocious against Dredge. But, yeah, here we are. So I'm going to get in there. Let's battle and see if these changes have made any difference at all, or if Grixis is just hopeless. And for the record, I think Grixis is a good color combination in Modern. You get a lot of powerful spells, and Death Shadow has proven it can be very successful. It just might not be the right color combination for Cryptic Command, which is what we're trying to assess here. Alright, so this hand is not bad. Can't cast Crocs on 2, which is a little awkward. Certainly not amazing, but it's not terrible. I'm gonna keep. I can go turn 2 Mana Leak, turn 3 Croxa. If I draw any land, turn 4 Cryptic. It's a pretty decent curve of cards. And I do think oftentimes you do want to sequence out like that. Like, I want to plan this out. I have this curve, and I am planning to cast these counterspells on curve. That said, you got to evaluate what you're playing against in every turn. Like, do I actually want to do that? But, I mean, that is my initial plan. Just looking at this hand, it's like, yeah, turn 2 Mana Leak, turn 3 Croxa, leaving up 1 mana, hopefully draw like a Thought Scour to also use on turn 3, and then turn 4 Cryptic. And then, from there, at some point after that, I will Snapcaster Mage, and we'll see how that goes. Alright, Foff was a great draw, so now we're just like a land away from having a fantastic hand, especially if the opponent's playing a blue deck. Ralgrim Triome probably means the opponent's playing a blue deck, as it turns out. Probably an Omnath deck, if I had to guess. Usually, the decks that fetch Triomes tend to be Omnath decks in this format, but maybe not. And that is a fantastic draw. Cast all my stuff. Was a color I'm missing for Croxa. Still cast Cryptic. Leaves us 1 red source short of Croxa, but still in totally reasonable shape. If I don't end up mana leaking here, like if opponent just goes land go, then I will not play Croxa next turn. I will instead continue to hold up mana leak. Force Negation does change that. There is a chance that I can pass the Force Negation up because I can counter the Planeswalkers. That said, my hand is actually kind of weak to Omnath. I don't really have a good answer to it. And I think given that, I'd rather wait a turn where I can just play Croxa and hold up Mana Leak and still have Force Negation. Like, next turn I can just do all the things. So, just buying myself some time to just get stuff in play seems totally reasonable to me. Or get lands in play just seems totally reasonable to me. Also, when you're playing blue decks, your tendency should be to not blink first. Now, there are certainly times where you would want to make the initial play. Like, for example, when you're about to miss a land drop. Like, if I draw another spell next turn, I probably will cast Croxa because I don't want to be the first one to miss a land drop without preempting that by doing something, I guess I'd say. Archmage's Charm? Oh, it's going to be one of these games. We're both out here just drawing cards, and yeah, it's going to get grindy, y'all. There will be some grind. I I can feel this. This is making me happy. The anticipation is building. Oh, I live for... Oh, Flagstones of Trocaire. So this is just like Jeskai. Teferi. No. Absolutely not. Get out of here with that. Are they... Oh, Snare? Oh, still no. I'd rather have Teferi be in their graveyard than Snare because they're pretty likely to have Snapcaster Mage. So limiting their targets, I think, is better. All of that said, they'd still probably Archmage's charge, so it probably just doesn't matter. But I think it's marginal, but I think it's right to Force Nation the Snare instead of the Teferi here. Just because there's a real chance they are a Snapcaster deck. But this is really good for me. Like I said, I was talking about missing a land drop and being scared I would be the first one to discard to hand size. Especially given I had a Factor Fiction in my hand. But, now I can just pass with 4 mana up and hope that they're not super interested in casting something this turn so that I can fire off this Foff. We'll see. Alright, it doesn't look like they wanted to cast anything. That said, I'm probably firing a Factor Fiction straight into their Cryptic Command, which is not ideal, but if it resolves, it's good for me. It's not going to resolve. Yeah, that didn't work. All right. Oh, that was a good draw. That was the other color I needed to cast Croxa. All that said, I'm passing up with a very conspicuous Cryptic Command. Yeah, here, yeah, I just have 4 mana open, 3 of it's blue. Go ahead. It's your turn. Please make a play. I don't have it, I promise. We're also losing pretty badly here. It's not great, but it's not terrible either. And I'm going to go ahead and clear their yard right now. I would like to just continue hitting land drops. Beautiful. Land there's great. And it clears their Snapcaster targets, which may or may not matter. I don't know if they have Snapcaster in their hand. But, you know, always good. And here, I believe I'm going to fire off Croxa, the front half anyway. Probably not going to get anything super valuable out of their hand, but I got to cast the front half at some point. The bad news here is that we're getting close to opponent casting like 5 mana Teferi with Mana Leak up or something, and my hand doesn't really do great against that at the moment. I only have a Cryptic Command, so if they do anything with a counter spell up, it's just gonna happen. Like, I'm not beating it. The tar pit over your flagstones, really? Okay. Oh, this puts into play tap too, doesn't it? Oh, this is dumb. This is just, gosh darn it. This is disruption that actually stops me from casting Cryptic Command this turn. That was not on my radar. Yeah. I'm going to get really blown out second main phase here. I can feel it. Yup. Yep. Here comes the blowout. This is what I meant by, like, if they have Teferi with anything, it's not good for me. Like Jace would also be close to unbeatable. Yeah, that's not good at all. They do it to me? Why me? Definitely want another Grixis. I do think I'm going to put Luris in my hand here. I am going to lose this Jace, I imagine. That would be my guess. But if I can, like, end of turn bounce it, maybe there's a chance. I don't know. It's not looking good for the home team here. Yeah, Jason Mind Sculptor is a very powerful magic card. That Cleansing Wildfire was particularly brutal for us. So here's how this goes down. Is I am going to fetch and try to bounce Jace. Opponent is going to counter my Cryptic Command, and then we're going to have to try to assemble next turn through what is probably another piece of disruption. And that's going to be tough. But, you know, we'll see what we can do here. They had a counter spell. I am stunned. I didn't expect that at all. Fatal Push. That wasn't it. That was not the draw we were hoping for there. I guess I lead on Croxa. I do think I'm supposed to lead on Croxa here because opponent is just very clearly representing another Cryptic Command. So definitely getting rid of the 3 lands. Next is probably the Force of Negation and the Mana Leak. If I draw a Snap, I want to cast something big. I'm going to need to catch up to that, and I definitely want the Spellbomb because I have Luris. Alright, Crox is in play. Honestly, wasn't expecting that. Path Exile. I was going to say, it does make sense to push Croxa here, because the push isn't super likely to convert, but these decks do generally have, like, Snapcaster Mage and Shark Typhoon, so maybe I do convert. And this opens up a spot for me to play Luris and get a Spellbomb in play. So I think letting this one happen is fine. I'm also not all that close to playing, or to using, or to recasting Croxa, I guess. I only have 3 cards in my graveyard, and I don't necessarily want to exile them. I mean, the Fatal Push would be card 4, but I want this Spellbomb. Right, they just discarded a Bolt, which is maybe good for Luris. Probably not. If they discarded a Bolt, it probably means they have something else to kill Luris with, but you never know. Like, there's no surprise with Luris. Opponent saw me pay 3 mana and put it in my hand, so... This is what you call getting beat heinously, just repeatedly. Yep, killing Luris with a Snapecaster Mage while I have a Nihil Spellbomb on the stack. Yeah, it's not good for me. Pretty bad for the home team here. Yeah, I mean, this is going extraordinarily poorly for me. Opponent does have an active Jace, which is close to unbeatable for me. If they ever get a Teferi in play, we're like insta-dead as well. And we're drawing a fetch land we can't do anything with, which is pretty unfortunate. Into Drown. Alright, I'm dead to this Jace. I need some sort of pressure here. Them having the Jace in play is just absolutely brutal. The Cleansing Wildfire turn was really bad for me. Maybe I got a little impatient there. Actually, I probably did. I definitely want Thought Seizes. And after that, I think I'm mostly good. Another Nile Spell Bomb doesn't really get me that far. I could bring it in over a Bolt and that'd be fine. But I like Bolt to finish off Jason to Fairy. Yeah. This is the kind of matchup where I really wish I had another young Pyromancer. You know, when you play against like Prowess or something with Lava Dart, you really wish you didn't have another young Pyromancer, but in a matchup like this, I would just kill for one of our rules supposed to be a third young Pyromancer. Well, we have Mr. Peasy, which is good. I think this hand's a keep. I am not hopeful that this hand wins me very many games of Magic in this matchup, but I do believe it's a keep. I'm probably going to fire, like... I don't think I used the Thought Scour this turn. I think I instead just fetch a tapped Steam Vent. And next turn I do probably just jam Croxa. I want to wait till I can at least get one thing off of Peasy here. Spellbomb also makes sense this turn because I would like to hit my next land drop pretty badly. But I'm just going to jam Croxa. And if they want to Spell Snare this, that's fine. Okay, they don't. That makes sense. Countering a discard spell, like a Raven's Crime discard spell, doesn't usually make all that much sense. You do counter Thoughtseize, but... or like you counter like a Mind Twist. So in Mind Twist you counter that. But, you know, someone's Raven's Crying and you just discard the bad card. You don't... Yeah. Alright, so... disaster scenario, we didn't draw a land. Which means I think I have to Spellbomb this turn, and I kind of hate it. But it is what it is. Let's cantrip one more time, see if we can hit. Deck. Deliver. Land. Alright, that is basically a land. And by basically a land, I mean it very much is not a land. The good news is, if I draw a land next turn, I'm set up to have a very nice young Pyromancer turn. The bad news is, they're probably going to jam it to Fairy this turn. No to Fairy. Okay, that's good for me. Land, deck, thank you. Beautiful. So jamming an open mana isn't great. It's not great. I think I'm just going to jam Croxa here, see what happens. I just want to keep Ravens criming them. Croxa, when you're like kind of choked on mana, is actually like decent because there is some incentive to path it. At least the back half. So making them, you know, discard cards and then path it to give me lands is pretty good. I'm also in an okay spot here. I mean, it's not amazing, certainly, but by playing Croxa here, kind of my hope is that they see me looking like I'm stumbling on lands and weak, and they just like jam a Jace. Opponent's shown a decent amount of... opponent played well last game. They showed a decent amount of wherewithal and just overall seemed like they knew what they were doing. So I don't expect them to just jam Jace in a matchup where we both have Force Negation. Actually, I don't even know if they have Force Negation. I haven't seen it, but they know I have Force Negation because I cast one against them. So I don't expect them to just jam Jace into a Force, but if they did, it'd go super well for me. Another Bolt. Alright, so 2 bolts down. Opponent's heavy on bolts here. Which is good, because Now my Peasy's somewhat likely to resolve. Alright. Opponent. Shock in Hallowed Fountain. Yeah, go. 4 mana. I don't have any plays. Just, here's triple blue and a mountain. But no plays. I got nothing. Oh, beautiful. So in terms of draws, Thoughtseize was a very good one. The question here is, do I Thoughtseize main? Thoughtseize before Pyromancer or after? I think the answer is that it's before. It does cost me a token, but casting Pyromancer into Cryptic's probably not getting me very far either. They had a Cryptic command. I, for one, am stunned by it. Who could have seen this coming? I actually think I'm supposed to take the Shark Typhoon here, though, funny enough. And then I just, like, play Snap on their turn and just Thought Scour myself. And then these cards aren't that effective. The Shark Typhoon is actually the thing that's annoying here the most. Because now they also just don't get to use their mana on my turn. And they might miss their next land drop, which could incentivize them to make a play. So I think this ends up working out better for me. It does mean I'm kind of in a spot where I can't really cast stuff on my main phase. So there's that. But it's okay. Not the end of the world. I have the instant speed threat now. They do not. It was an awkward spot for them. There. Like, do you Cryptic? End of turn, Cryptic my Snapcaster Mage. Interesting. Very interesting. I kind of want to force negation this. I think I'm supposed to. This goes poorly for me if I don't draw a spell, but if I draw a way to get Crocs in play, this goes fantastic. And that's the way to get Crocs in play. Beautiful. Ooh, I actually hit another Crocs at you then. Yeah, now I can just start attacking their hand aggressively, which is just wonderful. So black, black, red, red, Croxa, Scalding Tarn, Polluted Delta are first to go. Second Croxa's next. Definitely want to leave third Croxa. Those scars like fine. I guess Snapcaster and Force Negation. Beautiful. And so here I'm going to hit another card out of their hand. Realistically, they're probably discarding Force Negation unless the card they drew last turn was significantly worse. And then they're probably pathing. And then that leaves their hand like Jace in a blank. And yep, so they did discard Force. And Jace onto a board with a 6/6 and a 2/1 is not good. If they have the path, like, if they have land plus path plus Jace, it's not terrible. It's like, it's fine. But if they don't have a land here, I think the game's done. That is my assumption. Narset is a lot better against Uro than it was against Crocs, I'll tell you that much. My Croxa is going to get pathed here, which is unfortunate, but at least my Lightning Helix. Oh, can we not have a land? Oh no, they have to path. That's right. That's correct. What colors do I want? Another black source, so Lure should be mostly fine. I think I'm going to get blue. Just so that I have one basic of each still in my deck, so that if they do Cleansing Wildfire me, which I don't think they will. Alright, well. There you have it. So we're going to attack Narset. And then I believe I put Luris in hand. And then I'm going to play Pyromancer. And Pyromancer is probably just dead here. But I think that's fine. They probably Helix it. But next turn I can Luris plus play Pyromancer. Yeah, it looks like they're going to jam Jace, which again, like, isn't that good. Yeah, they kind of have to brainstorm, because if they minus, it dies to either of them. And that was why I played Pyromancer, is like, if they Jace minus on either of them, then the other one kills it. So I was kind of like forcing them to use Helix this turn. They didn't use Helix. Instead, they're letting Jace die to both. This is another reason to play both. Although, I guess if they drew a Bolt... ooh, that was a fantastic draw. Like, among the best draws in my deck, I believe. So let's start on that. Bolt the Jace, see if they do anything about it. And watch as Pyromancer goes to town. Get in there, Pyro buddy. And here I have to decide, would I rather cast Spellbomb or Croxa? I think the answer is Spellbomb. I think. I am going to lose my Luris. But that's fine. I mean, they're spending their turn Helixing, which is fine. Maybe I do Croxa, given that that's what happens here. Because then they have to kind of keep a Helix in their hand, so then they have like one other card in their hand they end up with. They're also like getting pretty low on life total. I think one of the ways they get back in this game, though, is Snapcaster Mage, so I'm going to try to not let that be a thing here. Oh, interesting. Do they have a Bolt or a Path here? A Bolt. Okay. So now their hand is Helix blank, which, again, this is all, like, just totally fine. Yeah, I don't think I do anything with Spellbomb yet. I will crack it at some point here. Is this a Verdict? No, Teferi. Sure. Well, I'm going to crack it now. If I draw like a Mana Leak, this goes pretty well for me. Even a Drown... Oh, no, Drown in the Loch does not go well. In fact, this is really bad. In fact, I just realized I have Nile Spellbomb and Drown in the Loch in the same deck. Yikes. It's not a combo. Are they going to plus Teferi, or are they just admitting defeat? They do plus Teferi. Okay, that makes sense. Still, this doesn't go all that well for them. I imagine the Helix kills the Pyromancer here. That is my assumption. And it does. But now, my Crocs is live. And even though we're flooding like the Dickens here, this is a lot of flood. We're still in okay shape. Black and red. Perfect. Correct. So only thing I'm leaving here is going to be Luris. I do think I need to attack Teferi, otherwise my Crocs gets tucked, which I really don't want. And again, we've drawn 5 more lands than our opponent, which is, I guess, technically they pathed me once, so 4 more. But it's pretty tough to overcome in Constructed. They've just had significantly more spells than me. That's also pretty awful, I would say. Just like in general, it's really bad. If I had, like, you know, spells to cast, I'd be in a decent spot, but I really don't. That said, I do maybe get to kill this Teferi this turn if they don't have a removal spell. There's another land. Perfect. Just saying I wanted to draw another land. I don't even know if this one has fetchable targets. I guess I have a Blood Crypt and a Mountain left, maybe. Snare. Alright. Well, they only have one card, so if it's not Snapcaster Mage, we're in fantastic shape. I guess Cryptic Command would be kind of bad too. Yeah. It looked like we had a shot. Oh, Archmage's Charm? I mean, that's really bad. Yeah, no, that's just really bad. There's not really like some other like upside to this. That's just actively quite bad for me. But the good news is we've drawn basically every land in the deck to this juncture, so we can't really draw any more. That's my point. I'm sticking to it. I'd say thinning doesn't typically matter, but we've drawn like literally every land, so okay. Yeah, that's deck. Why are you like this? I have one fetchable left in my entire deck. And I can't even have drawn my Tarpit. I just have to draw fetches that do actual nothing while my opponent ticks up Planeswalkers. Monastery Mentor? Oh, that's way better than my Young Pyromancer.
I was thinking the same thing, that if you can't, I can cover the table for you. You're presenting, I don't
The Force Negation is really bad. It does actual nothing with the Fairy Time Raveler in play. But even more than that, like I just don't even have a way to get it out of my... Like, I can't even just discard it and put it in my yard for Kroxa. Like, I would throw my hand in the graveyard right now if I could. Sadly, I cannot. Yeah, I mean... Opponent's drawn more cards than me, or I guess we've drawn the exact same number of cards. We're exactly as deep in our libraries, with the exception that I have fetched more and thought scoured myself. So like, they've drawn a lot more cards than me, and I also have, 4 more lands in play than them, 5 actually. Which one of them was from being Path, but it just should there's like a very big spell deficit there, right? Like they just had way more spells than I have. Which generally, like, land drops in a control mirror matter, but it's not... Like, it matters up to, like, 5 or 6 in Modern. In Standard, it can matter up to, like, 15 or 20, but it doesn't really matter here. And Teferi's still just a heinous card. That hasn't changed. Has not changed. Alright, I've seen enough here. Alright, here for round 2. We did win the die roll. On the play, this hand's certainly a keep. It doesn't really do anything, but it's definitely a keep. And I do, even though it looks like I should probably lead on Tarpit here, I think I'm going to lead on Watery Grave. Just so I can play Sulfur Falls untapped next turn. And then turn 3, so I can Mana Leak on turn 2, Mana Leak on turn 3, and play Tarpit on 3. And then maybe Shock Watery Grave on 4 if I need that at that point. That decision will delay until we've had a few more draw steps. Blooming Marsh Thoughtseize me. Well, my hand's garbage, so you are welcome to take any of these spells. Literally, they're all not great. So just gonna play Sulfur Falls and hold up Mana Leak still. The other Sulfur Falls like looks a little awkward, but honestly it's like not that bad. It's the second red I need for Kroxa at some point. You know, like upkeep Assassin's Trophy me or something, or draw step Assassin's Trophy me? No, okay. That's a weird. Why are you saying a stop in my draw step? That's interesting. Maybe it's like Jund and they have Kolaghan's command, and it's probably Jund. It could also just be like Black Green Rock, but this is probably Jund. I would assume based on Blooming Marsh Thoughtseize. No, Black Green Rock. Jund does not play Field of Ruin. All right, fair enough. I'm going to just keep playing the lands they know I have so as to give away less information about how bad my hand is. It's kind of the plan here. I imagine the creeping carpet's gone. Goodbye, carpet. It's nice to have you while it lasted. I guess it's better to get mountain and swamp. I could actually see island if there's some crazy person playing Blood Moon off of only black-green basics. It looks very much like a black-green rock deck, which... if your blue deck ever loses to Black Green Rock, you actually just have to retire from Magic altogether. So, I'm really hoping that isn't where this ends up going, but we'll see. These decks are so bad against blue decks. They're so bad. They're not bad choices. They're good against most of the field, but they're just particularly... What? Yeah, that's fine. This is particularly bad against blue decks, where I can kill their stuff and counter and draw a bunch of cards, so... I guess I'd rather have Bolt up than push. Foff was a fantastic draw. I can't imagine a better draw in my entire deck than Foff. Yeah, it was really good. You probably shouldn't split these two separately, I'll say that. However you split them, these two should be in the same pile, because otherwise I get both, but... if you put them together, then I just snap take that pile. So this is a tough Foff for the opponent. All right, I think this is the best split of the Factor Fiction for them, for what it's worth. God, Factor Fiction's such an awesome card. Is this not awesome? This is awesome. I love this. It's so good. This actually makes a lot of sense too. Although, I'm probably just definitely supposed to take the top pile. I think. Yeah, I'm going to choose pile 1. Now I can just pick up the Snapcaster with K command next turn. This is going to start getting counters on it, but like, I don't know. I have 1,000 ways to kill that. And by 1,000 I mean mostly Fatal Push, but that's fine. I still get to leave up Mana Leak this turn, which is pretty nice. And I have K command, which I'm probably using to just like you discard me, pick up Snap. Thoughtseize me. No, I have enough cards. I don't think this matters. So I'm just gonna Force Negation it. I don't want him to break up my K command Snap loop. That's where I'm at here. They should be happy about this. They got 2 cards for 1 out of their Thoughtseize, which is about the best a Thoughtseize can do. When it's a 2 for 1. Not as good as when it's a Time Walk. That's the optimal Thoughtseize scenario. But when it's a 2 for 1, it's pretty good. And to clarify, Thoughtseize being a Time Walk is when, like, if you Thoughtseize somebody before their turn 2 and they have 1 spell in hand that costs turn 2 that they're going to play on turn 2, and you take it, and then they just go land go for turn 2, that's a Time Walk. That's what we mean in the business by Thoughtseize being a Time Walk. So, nope, I want red mana. Here I'm going to K command, target player discards a card and return target creature. Yep. Snapcaster Mage, and you discard. And I think I want to pop the Spell Bomb. That one's close because it does put a counter on this thing, but like, it's probably okay. They discard another Serulf. Alright, fair enough. I just really want to find like a fatal push or really anything here.
It could be both.
Why did their trigger go in between? That doesn't make any sense. It should definitely have gone on either side of mine, right? I don't know. Whatever. The good news too is our deck has continued its trend of drawing no spells whatsoever and only lands, which is kind of nice. And by nice I mean it's quite bad for me actually. But I'm going to Factor Fiction again here, and we'll be all set. I actually could have like snap targeted K command, go to blocks, block, K command. Does that work? After I declare box, before Snapcaster dies, after K command deal 2, yeah. So it would have worked, but you know, whatever. I would rather FOF here. And this is why it stinks to be black-green. Like, without Scavenging Ooze, they have actual no counterplay to this. Like, they just are going to sit here and watch me repeatedly cast Factor Fiction, which is a brutal card to play against. Hey, that kills Serulf. I'm definitely choosing pile 2. Fatal Push Snappy Boy, sure. Yeah, I'm going to let Serulf get huge here, obviously. I'm just going to drown in the Locket. Oh, wait. I do have to put one more card in their graveyard before I can drown in the Locket. I mean, I have a Thought Scour, so like I can do this. Oh, well, that works too. Yeah, my Nile Spellbomb combo. Not a combo. Not a combo. This is not a combo, as it turns out. But let's Fatal Push this. Do they want to respond? What are you going to do? Alright, very interesting. I guess I'm going to get the Steam Vent here. I don't know. Sure. And I could put Luris in my hand. I think I'm still fine, though. Just not going to do it. I'd rather just leave up all my spells for this turn. I'm not in a huge rush. Opponent has a lot of spells, but they're not really casting anything. It's fine. I probably should have tapped Sulfur Falls, but again, fine. Oh, Croxa was a heck of a draw here. Black, blue. Target player discards a card, returns Snappy Boy. You. And the grind continues. Ooh. That's an interesting one. I do think I have an island left in my deck. Exactly one, to be accurate. Yep. Let's start with Senor Croxa. And just get rid of lands. Specifically fetches first, but then after that, sure. Lands. What are we discarding? Bloodchief's Thirst. Sure. That's fine. And I do think I play Pyromancer. No. I'm going to wait on Pyromancer. I'm just going to let Croxa start eating their hand. It's a hungry fella. Trophy? I don't have any basics left. That's annoying. I had flipped my other two islands with Factor Fiction, so they're gone. Yeah. I am going to Snapcaster K command end of turn. No, wait, that doesn't really get me anywhere, right? I mean, like, I can... No, I'm not going to do that. That sounds bad. I don't like it. I have decided I am against this course of action. I think I might just play Crocs again. Just keep eating their hand. Seems reasonable. Maybe this time... So, 4... No. I'm just going to play Young Pyromancer. See what they do about it. If they kill it, now I can do the snap, and I also get to Mana Leak or Drown in the Loch, or do one of those things first. Not with Abrupt Decay, I don't. Fair enough. Fair enough. That said, opponent's just like killing my stuff and not drawing any cards, so yeah, at some point here, well, that's still totally fine. Second Bobby. Alright. Well, now opponent has no cards in hand, which is good for me. I mean, they do technically have one card in hand, but I also technically have a Croxa going on the stack next turn, so actual no cards. And no Bob. Alright, so 2 damage and return target creature. I want Pyromancer, and I want Bob to die. Well, that's pretty good. What are we doing, opponent? They have again stopped in my draw step. At a point in the game where I literally think they have like no outs. They need to draw like Mountain Banefire, and I don't even know if that does it. Yeah, probably gonna be tough. That doesn't cast this. Alright, they've seen enough. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that putting Crocs in play, passing with Cryptic up, and just being like way ahead on board was probably gonna be enough. So they're just black-green. I want to bring in Feed the Swarm because it's somewhat likely they have Choke and or Leyline of the Void. I think my now Spellbomb idea was a little loose. So kind of off that. Aether Gust also seems reasonable. It's not like amazing, but reasonable. And I think there's a chance I'm supposed to have like a Damnation just because they could have cards like Hex Drinker or Thrun. I've seen it before, so I'll have one. Probably better than the Gust. Gust is like not very good. I think I'm just gonna bring in the Damnation. If I knew exactly that they had Choke, I'd probably want Gust, but not knowing that there's Choke coming, I think I'm good without Gust. I also think I could discard or not have Force Negation in for this matchup for what it's worth, but it's fine. Well, this hand's not necessarily amazing. If it draws 2 lands, it's very good. And if we've seen anything today, it's that I am quite good at drawing lands. Very skilled in that aspect of the game. Except when I need to, of course, then I'm not very good at it. But here we are. They took my push, so incoming Tarmogoyf and or Hex Drinker and or Bobby here, I would assume. Yeah, Bob. And this is how this deck needs to beat me. Like, if they're going to beat me, they need to do it like this, where they go discard spell in a 2-mana threat, and I don't have a way to answer it. That said, I have a lot of ways to answer it in my deck, so it's fairly likely that I find one. I am just going to run out the Pyromancer here. I think they probably spend their turn killing it, but if they don't, it's really good for me. And if they do kill it, ugh. So say if they do kill it, I can just Colgan Scram Bob, return Pyromancer. Maybe they don't have a land, so I don't get Thoughtseize and lose my K command. That'd be insane. Oh, they didn't have the land. I am really lucky. I should probably lose this game, honestly. But I got lucky. I'll take it. They had a land there and they got the Thoughtseize the K command. I guess I drew Feed this one, so I would have been able to kill the Bob. But yeah, it's not great. Alright. 2 damage, return target creature. The Bob was definitely, like, if they had Thoughtseize there, it would have been bad. That said, I did draw the Feed this one, so I guess I would have killed Bob. I still would have been in rough shape. Yeah, like, pretty rough shape. But do we have another Bob here? This feels like a goy for a Bobby. One of these things. Nope, another Bob. Alright, well. Definitely rough shape. That's a good draw, though. I would be frustrated if I was opponent. That said, I am a Grixis deck. I have like 1,000 ways to kill Bob. And by 1,000, I mean like 10. But Snapcaster Mage also did it. Thought Squeeze. I'm going to get Veil of Summer here instead. That sounds way better to me. Oh, I didn't get Veil of Summer, actually. That's... Oh, they just have another Thoughtseize. So many discard spells! Stop! Leave me be! Hey, that cast factor fiction, you'll love to see it. Tracker? Yikes. No land? They have a land, okay. Well, a K command would be good here. A land and a Snapcaster would be good here. A lot of good draws here off this Foth. These really aren't good draws. Like, these are not very good at all, actually. It's kind of the opposite, in fact. I'm curious how they split this. I think I'm supposed to choose this pile. Force Nation's, like, not that good. I don't know. It's tough. I think I'm supposed to choose this pile. Just because I have a cantrip to go with PZ here. The 2 lands are pretty medium. Yeah. I think that's close. I don't know. I don't know if that was right or not. I am going to Thought Scour myself. At some point we'll hit a Croxa. That point was not right here, though. And then I guess I play a Steam Vent tapped. And when I said I wanted to hit lands, the deck listened. It delivered. You have 15 lands in your next 6 cards or whatever. All right, killing the Tireless Tracker before they drew 10 cards off of it would have been ideal. But also just drawing a spell would be pretty good here. Hey, that's pretty good. Alright, so I'm just going to pass. And I'm hoping they use the Scavenging Ooze, otherwise this K command doesn't do anything. But if they do use Scavenging Ooze on a turn, I'm going to K command and probably Shatter. They didn't use it. Awkward. Very awkward indeed. Alright, it's getting worse. And that's a Joyf, okay. Things continue to go poorly for me. Yeah, let's block, I guess. Alright. So end of turn, I maybe have a shot to do something here. If they crack this clue and tap out, I am in a very good spot. If they don't, I'm going to lose, which is like a reason I never crack clues when you have a Scavenging Ooze up in a deck like this, for the record. Okay, so I can force a line of play here. The question is it worth it? I think I'll let that happen. Yeah, they're just slow playing it. I was supposed to force a line of play when they activated there, I think. Because it's just getting worse for me. I'm just getting buried at this point. And now they're just always going to have green mana up for Skoos too. Well, now I'm kind of forced into this, huh? Yeah, this does not go well for me, really, at all. Is there something I can do here that maybe makes it work? I think my best shot at having something work here is Kolaghan's Command, Shatter, and a discard. You and that. And it still probably doesn't work, but it's my best shot for something to work, I believe. Because if they crack the clue, then like maybe this works. I was 100% supposed to hit the Scavenging Ooze previously, but I did not do that. Yep. So last turn when they went to eat their thing, I could have K-Command, like you discard, deal 2 to it. Then they're forced to eat in response. Then I can snap push it, and I put myself in a much better spot than I am here. That said, maybe I was still supposed to kill the Tireless Striker. I don't know. I do know that I'm unlikely to come back in this game. I have fallen too far behind. Probably can't take a hit from a 7/6. That thing's big. But I did board a Damnation in my deck, so like a Damnation here would actually put me just in a totally good spot. How about land instead? That seemed to be a consistent theme with this deck, is literally every single time at all. That I would want to draw a good spell, I draw that instead. So I do still think the force negations stink. I want the Gust. We saw many green creatures here. And given that I saw Gust, I think Feed the Swarm's a little less necessary. I'm going to bring the Damnation in. Yeah. Yep. Let's do that. Alright, round 3 here of this. Alright, if this hand had red mana, it'd be amazing. It does not have red mana. That said, we're very good at drawing lands. We have demonstrated this thus far. So, decent shot. Decent shot that I can draw a red source and have a fantastic hand. So let's hope. Swamp on turn 1 is a telltale sign something's awkward with my mana here. It's pretty bad, but they're going to know anyway, because they're going to have a Inquisition or a Thoughtseize. This deck probably has a bunch of discard spells in it. Young Pyromancer, that is an interesting take. We drew the red source though, so opponent was correct to take it. Alright. Oh, smart opponent. I'm gonna play it tapped. I think it's very reasonable to play it untapped there, but any 2-drop they play I can push. And they definitely have 2-drops. We saw Bob, we saw Scavenging Ooze, we saw Goyf. So there's a reasonable chance their hand they kept was like discard spell into Tarmogoyf or something of the such. And, you know, if that's the case, they probably were planning to play it, but they might just have more discard. And if they have more discard, I'd rather not have spent the life. I'd rather have gotten that into play tapped. So, like, either way, I think it's better. The one... I can't really even think of any punishes here for going this way. I'm gonna say, like, the one punish I could think of that'd be, like, not really a thing, but, like, Simian Spirit Guide into Choke would really punish me. But I still can just, like, play an island and gust it, and Spirit Guide's banned, so it's not gonna happen. Yeah. Opponent's definitely taking their time here. They're trying to slow play me. Trying to stall me. Well, they're not trying to stall. They're trying to freeze. Like, you call the timeout before the kicker's going to kick or something. Make them think about it before they do their play. Opponent's trying to freeze me out. Alright. I appreciate the gamesmanship, opponent. Looks like their name is Pernoble. Alright, discard spell. So I'm probably going to lose my factor. No, the Colligan's command. Interesting. That screams they have another Thoughtseize, right? Okay. Yeah, well, now I'm losing the Factor Fiction, and that's unfortunate, but... How many discard spells could they possibly have? I do believe I'm supposed to get Luris here. I've already used 3 discard spells. They can't have a 4th, right? This Luris is definitely safe in my hand. I am kind of exposing myself to choke here, but it's not even clear they're playing it, and like I still have the owl. Like, I can just play Scalding Tarn and gust it next turn, so that's fine. Oh my god, they had the 4th discard spell. Discard spell, like, when you go really heavy on discard spells, it's really awkward because they're so bad to draw late. But when you draw all of them early and follow it up with, like, a good threat, it's really strong. That said, this is, like, not that good because they haven't done anything. Like, the late game goes better for me. If they had gone, you know, this Inquisition into Bob or Tarmogoyf or, like, really anything here, like another land, I'd be pretty scared. Given they never did those things, I'm in pretty good shape. I still have answers to their next, you know, 2 or 3 plays. And Luris isn't gone forever. They haven't exiled my graveyard yet. I still have 2 more K commands. I can bring him back. I can remember. Also, Snapcaster gets this K command and then, you know, comes back. So, I could Cryptic this. I do think I'm better off just Fatal pushing it. I'd rather save Cryptic Command for Scavenging Ooze or Tireless Tracker, something that gets value. Tarmogoyf is just an easy 1-for-1 trade with push, so not something I want to concern myself with. And same with Gust. I'd rather have it for, you know, like a choke or, yeah, Scavenging Ooze or anything like that. It is possible opponent has a Bob in hand and they were like trying to get me to use my push so that their Bob can live. Because I can't gust Bob. But if that's the case, I drew a Bolt. No, Liliana is going to be incredibly annoying. I don't like that. Nothing like your blue opponent drawing a Cryptic Command off the top. That is really frustrating, I would imagine. Alright, let's Thought Scour ourselves here, shall we? Hitting a Croxa and drawing a red sorcery would be amazing. That was not what happened. We did mill 2 Scalding turns we didn't necessarily want to draw, so that's good, I guess. And the Damnation could end up being good, I guess. Maybe. I don't know. We'll find out. But we're kind of out of value. I don't really have anything else happening here for me. So yeah, like another Liliana would be really bad for me here. Scavenging Ooze is fine. I think I just bolt that and they get to eat like my Pyromancer or something, but it's fine. It's a little awkward against Bob. Maybe I was supposed to gust it, but I kind of want to save gust for like Tracker or something. I imagine they eat my Lurrus here. Seems like the best play. They do eat Lurrus. Okay, that makes sense. Well, now I kind of wish I had gusted. But opponent has a lot of green spells. We are not going to be at any lack of things to gust. I'm going to gust that one. Do you want to draw a Courser of Crufix and repeat this turn? They do. Ooh, we drew the Carpet. Let's go, Carpet. I will gust Courser again here, because I know they're going to probably put it on top and, yep, get gusted. They topped again. I do believe it is time now to bring the beats. I think you can make an argument for playing Pyromancer here. I kind of really don't want to, though, because I am going to have to use this Damnation here in a second. And also, like, I know they're playing Courser next turn, so I kind of just get brickwalled by it. Hoping there's not a land on top. Liliana the Veil. That's not great for me. Oh, Croxa. Beautiful, beautiful Croxa. So the creepy Carpet is starting to put in some work. Opponent's getting low, like, if they don't have a land on top of their library and they play Liliana next turn, they're dead on board. So, I mean, it's something they definitely need to consider. Here is Croxa. They have discarded an Abrupt Decay. Well, Abrupt Decay is not very good against Creeping Carpet, that's for sure. They did have a land on top, so that's good for them. It doesn't let them cast the Liliana they drew, though, so kind of an awkward spot. Interesting. I think I'm just casting Damnation here. Just not going to let them Courser. And if they play Liliana, I can just bolt them and activate Tar Pit, and then they die. I know they're not drawing land this turn. They're drawing another Liliana. So we've got the burnout plan happening. All fine. This player discards a card. I will discard you on Pyromancer. They discarded other Liliana. So they have 2 cards. If one of them's a push, they get to live, but if they don't have a push, they're dead. Even if they do have a push, they have to go to 1. And then when I draw a red source, at some point Croxa does many work. Oh, now well, I just drew the counter spell, so they're just actually dead. Oh, they had the push. So unfortunate for them. I drew the drown on the Loch. Sorry, buddy. Can't Thoughtseize the top of my deck, though. That is the way that works. Oh, beautiful. What a beautiful W that was. Nice. Alright, won the die roll again. Which, I don't even know if this deck necessarily wants to win the die roll. I mean, for the most part, you probably do, but this is a deck that could definitely be on the draw with Force Negation and a bunch of cheap 1-mana removal. You don't want to be on the draw against Tron, though. Probably never. If we are against Tron, this hand could maybe win. Maybe. At least have turn 2 pressure, which is pretty important. I don't know it matters what land I lead with. I'm going to play Scalding Tarn. Colonnade. Why? Just mono blue-white matchups. Come on. What is this? Alright, so Steam Vent here, and then I just fetch Watery Grave, and we're off to the races. Starting at 16 life. Still want Steam Vent, I believe. Or Watery Grave, excuse me. I would still want Watery Grave. Path Exile. I mean, it's not great, but it's fine. Gets me ahead on mana. I was actually like short on lands, so it's fine. Wow, opponent's just out here playing Azorius Guildgates. I like it. I like the audacity. If they just pass, I'm going to teach them a lesson here and bounce their Azorius Guildgate end of turn. They probably end up countering it, but that's fine. I do need to do stuff to turn on this Drown in the Loch. Return target permanent to its owner's hand, draw a card. Yes. Like you'd have to replay your Azorius Guildgate. Oh, the combo! We got the combo! It's so good! Look at it! It is a combo. Alright, so I'm firing this Drown in the Loch off on anything. First chance I get. This is an example of very poor deck building. Don't copy this. I've demonstrated a loop. I would like to proceed to go infinite. Alright, I'm gonna play my Spellbomb and just be sad. Just be sad that I have a Drown in the Loch in my hand and a Spellbomb in it's just, it's not good. It's really not good. Oh boy. I do think I cycle it here. But again, this Drown in the Loch is just staple to this fortification, I guess. Here we are. Alright. Land drop is good there. Yeah. What a combo! what a combo that was. I guess Loch can always kill a Celestial Colony when they animate it, so maybe that's a real thing? Question mark. Yeah, I don't know. I am going to play Lurrus here, because otherwise I discard the hand size. And if they counter it with Cryptic Command, I'm going to Mana Leak. And if they have like a Force Negation for this Mana Leak, then okay, Lurrus gets countered, but I still have 2K commands in my hand, so I don't mind having something in my yard. And now I still have a Force Negation stapled to this Loch, as to answer any of their like super strong plays here, like that. The question is, would I rather pitch Mana Leak? The Loch actually could be on, but yes, no. I am gonna pitch the Loch. Loch seems not good. Seems mucho not good. Snapcaster's good. I think I just pass here still, though. Like, I do have a window to resolve something, but I'd rather, like, get to convert this Mana Leak into a card so that my K command's a 2, like, and make my K command a 2-for-1. I imagine they'll fight over this. Return target creature, target player discards. Lurrus, and you discard. Where are we at here? Seems like... What? What is happening? Why is that in their deck? Sure. So instead of discarding, they made a 1/1. Well, they still did. I mean, they still took a card out of their hand. They just cast it to make a 1. Okay. I don't understand why, but that's fine. I'm going to play Young Pyromancer and just pass. I mean, it does make me scared that there is something else going on in this deck that I am not prepared or ready for. I don't know. I don't know what's happening. It's chaos. You cast a Lazotep Plating and a Blue Mirror, and everyone loses their, like, you know, I'm going to lose my mind. I don't know what is happening. I'm off kilter. I've lost all direction. Opponent has me thoroughly confused. Opponent's not casting anything, though, that's for sure. I think I can shock and make him discard. I don't know. I do not know. I'm going to try it. Do this lightly. Alright. Target player, 2 damage. Yes. Yes. Get him. Do we have another Lazo? Oh my gosh. More Lazotep Platings. I'm going to Cryptic counter draw here. And now if they want to fight back, then they can't use their Lazotep Plating. Beautiful. Now we're kind of just destroying them, actually. Do they have another Lazotep Plating? No. Oh, they discard another Snap too? Yikes. Awkward. I do believe this is a pretty good time to play Lurrus. I am kind of playing into a sweeper, but it's okay.
I have a counterspell for everything that's not a sweeper here. And I have a Snapcaster to get back Luris even. And he drew a card already by playing a Spell Bomb, so... Fine with all of this. So it is somewhat likely they have a sweeper. They are a blue-white deck. Specifically Verdict. Any other sweeper is like not that bad. Jace? No, Jace is fine. Well, it's not going to resolve, but that's fine for us. I mean, maybe it resolves. They might have a counterspell. I can't really stop it if they have another one. Doesn't do all that much. Thought Scour Moi. Pop Nile Spellbomb target you. And we have another Creepy Carpet. Did I hit a Croxa? No. But I did hit, I can cast the Spellbomb here. We actually get to beat down here. This is 9, right? So I could have done 12 if I animated the Tar Pit. It's like not quite enough. I'm probably supposed to like Snap Cryptic this. Sure. It's possible I was supposed to K command. But again, like if they sweeper here, they just end up dying. Like I can just animate 2 Tar Pits and kill them, so it's not really that big a deal. I also am like way ahead on cards. The Lazotep plating still has me all kinds of messed up. I don't know what that was about at all. I think opponent was trying to get into my head, and they did it. Living rent-free up in my mind now. Fatal Push is not a particularly good draw. Imagine this is like Cryptic Tap. Yeah, that's fine. I guess I thought Scour in response, because if there's... No, wait, this just doesn't work. They still left themselves dead on board. Alright, whatever. Let's say if I found a Snapcaster or a few things, I just win. Sure. Snap Force of Negation. Say okay. Yep. Alright. I was gonna say if they had another counterspell, it's like fine, but I can snap Force Negation and still play Croxa this turn. So we're just getting all the values, every single values. How many values you want? I got them. This is still. Yikes! Yikes! You can tell here at RW Mix Magic, we put a lot of thought and care into building our deck lists. And they're made with the utmost love. I really thought it was going to be good. I looked at it, I was like, yo, Drawn Lock sounds sick. Now Spellbomb's main also sounds sick. Didn't quite get to the point where I was like, wait a minute, that just doesn't work at all. Even a little it doesn't work. Seems awkward. Doesn't have red mana. And I'm playing just Dimir Guildgates, not Azorius Guildgates. Welcome change from my normal Azorius Guildgate life. But I think I'm going to keep. It didn't seem like opponent was going to do anything super fast to pressure me. Beautiful. I was just hoping for another blue-black duel with this hand. This side I can still cast all my spells, so it's not really that big a deal. Alright, red mana. Red mana's good. I'm going to pass and bluff like I have something I can do here. If I was going to do that, though, I was definitely supposed to play Scalding Tarn and not Island. But here we are. Shark Typhoon for 0? What? What is happening? What is this deck? Alright, they're missing their land drop. Okay. Fair enough. Oh, baby. We got the Drown in the Loch and the Spellbomb. The combo is back! It's like it never left. Well, if they cast like an Opt or something, I can counter it, I guess. Yeah. Baby. Alright, I'm definitely not casting anything here because I don't want them to like get to convert a card to a resource when they're about to discard a hand size. Instead, I'm just gonna fetch and pass. Let them discard. Discarding the hand size in game 1s generally doesn't matter that much. In games 2 and 3, it's just awful. If you can get someone discarding a hand size, it's just so good for you. Unless they're like beating the crap out of you, like they have 10 cards to your none and they're discarding out of, like I've cast too much card draw, then that's not good for you, obviously. But for the most part, it's generally good for you. Like they're just down a path now, and I didn't even have to like get them to use it on anything. They're just down that card. They don't have it. And it powered up my Drown of the Loch, interestingly enough. We'll convert it at some point. I can feel it. I can feel it. We're going to turn this into a card. It's going to be glorious. Definitely. I could get a Blood Crypt here. I'm probably supposed to still just get Steam Vent. I don't know that it really matters. This one's probably getting Blood Crypt, honestly. Or maybe this one. Well, drawing... Oh, they discarded again. Oh, yikes. Yeah, this is, I mean... This is how you draw it up if you're a control guy. Just let them keep discarding the hand size while you play lands. One snappy boy. Oh, we can counter that. Let's go drown. Let's go, baby. Yes. Beautiful. Drown of the Loch converted. That's a full resource. We made it happen. So I think you can make an argument to snap Thought Scour here, but I still think I'm just going to pass. Did I mill Blood Crypt? Oh, I did. I Thought Scoured a Blood Crypt already. Alright. Just curious where that Blood Crypt went. I'm just going to keep playing lands. I get to just get very far ahead on mana here while opponent is kind of stumbling. They are slightly up on cards, but alright. Land's a good draw for them. I wonder if I put Luris in my hand yet. I don't think I do. Okay, just wait still. I do think I do Luris this turn, though. Maybe I snap Thought Scour here. Yeah, I'm gonna go for a snap Thought Scour here, I think. I can do it with Cryptic up. So if we fight a fight, I have a decent chance of winning it. If we don't fight, this is fine. Like, if this just all happens, I'm cool with it. Mill the Crocs of that is excellent. That was exactly what we wanted to do there. Well, let's attack for 2. I don't think I'm going to Croxa quite yet. No, maybe I'm supposed to. I'd like another blue card so I have 2 counter spells. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna Kroxa quite yet. I think I'm just gonna Nile Spellbomb this turn. I still have land drops to hit, so I'm not like necessarily in a rush. You gonna Path Exile my Snap? That's so okay. Wow. I am kind of low on basics. I guess I have 2 left. Seems like they're just not going to use the Snap. Yeah, this is fine. I guess red is slightly better than blue here. I don't know. Most of my fetch lands are blue, so it is slightly better, I would assume. Man, now we're talking about next turn I can just cast Kroxa with Hardcast Force and Hardcast Cryptic up, which may or may not be enough. I just have so many manas. I do believe I'm supposed to pop Spellbomb here just to try and get another card. Okay, Command's good. Don't want it quite yet, though. Oh my goodness. This deck is so good at drawing fetch lands after it's out of fetchables. It just does it every game I play. It's unbelievable. Very, very skilled. One, two, three, 4, and 5. Just hit the lands. Gust. I don't like Gust. I want to counter Gust. Having Gust in against me at all is actually kind of interesting. It really only does any... I guess it's a good against K-Command too, so maybe it's not terrible. It's not like great against K-Command, it's just like fine. Well, they're fetching here, they're probably Crypticing. If they Cryptic here and they don't have Force Negation, I win this fight very badly. If they Cryptic here and do have Force Negation, they're going to end up winning, but it's not the end of the world. They're not like ahead or anything. They're actually still pretty far behind. Ooh, they didn't have Force. This is bad news for opponent. Yeah, now Crocs is in play. Now their hand's going away. Now they're down to 3 cards to my 5, and I've got 2 for 1s in hand still. And more cards. They discarded Purge. Well, I imagine they have a way to answer this Kroxa then. You probably aren't discarding Purge if you didn't have a way to kill Kroxa. Okay, Path. Good. So now I have actual no fetchables left in my entire deck, so this Pluto Delta has become completely useless. And I only have 5 lands left to draw in a 30-card deck. That's it. 5. The amount this deck floods is outrageous, but here we are. Yep, just when you think there's not that many lands left and you can't draw them, you still find a way. Like it never left. All right, Kroxa. Let's just eat their entire hand here. You have no hand. Is this Cryptic? It's funny because you still just have no hand. Two damage, you discard. I discarded Opt, and then I'm going to cast Kroxa again. And get everything except Nile's Spellbomb, because my follow-up to all of these things is Lurist here. And they now no longer have a hand. Nope, they have a Path Exile. Well, they still don't have a hand. I'm putting Lurist in mine. So they're top decking I just got a Luris and I have the Spellbomb loop going. And, oh, I was definitely supposed to leave up red for a bolt, but whatever. Not a huge deal. If they draw exactly a counterspell for Luris this turn, it's pretty bad for me. But I drew a Force Negation, so never mind. I'd say that was like the best draw ever for me. And I actually think I can start firing up the carpet. Go, carpet man. Start getting the beats in. Not firing up the other one until next turn when I just have access to more black mana. Alright. We're done here. We are done here. Beautiful. Alright, back for round 3 here. Still gonna, or round 4, excuse me. Still gonna reveal Luris, certainly. This hand looks pretty good. If I can play against a deck with creatures, which Luris decks generally are, the hand seems quite good. We've got the classic Drown in the Loch stapled to a Force Negation situation going on here that this deck has become rather notorious for, if you will. Alright, so it looks like Black-Red Shadow. This is actually fine for me. This is probably a very good matchup for Grixis. About as good as it could possibly be, honestly. Ooh, that was also quite a very good draw. I'm going to go ahead and bolt this fella before it gets too many cards under it and can actually be a resource for the opponent. Is this a Scourge? It is a Scourge. And this is why it should be a really good matchup for Grixis. I just have a ton of ways to kill their stuff. Like the fact that it's big and gets out of bolt range doesn't really matter all that much because I've got Drown in the Loch and Fatal Push and Snapcaster. And the small stuff like Swift Spear and Beaumont I can bolt. So this, in theory, should be quite good for me. We'll see if it plays out that way. But I imagine I'm in a pretty good spot, especially making it out of the early turns without really taking any significant hits. Kroxa could be annoying. Kroxa could certainly be annoying. But I've got my Nile Spellbombs, and I'll draw them eventually. Eventually. It's the answer to Kroxa. I can also just mana leak it when they actually cast the other half, and we'll be fine. This does come into play untapped. Had to make sure, but it does. And then we'll kill this here Swift Spear and pass with 2 counter spells up and feel pretty good about our spot. Definitely want to counter this before Kroxa eats the yard, and this drown gets even worse than it already was. So yeah, that's where that one's at. So you know, it'd be really good here is a Cryptic Command. Calling Command also not terrible, as it turns out, though. Good way to kill Luris. If they do Kroxa here, I'm definitely mana leaking it. Shadow, I can K-Command that even with the Sunbaked Canyon going on. And Luris in the hand, huh? Alright. If they have like a Street Wraith, this goes bad, but this deck doesn't generally play Street Wraith, so maybe this works. Oh, brutal. And they discard 2 cards. So their hand is Luris, and they have a Kroxa in their yard. So I'm going to need something here, but even like if I draw a land, I get to put Luris in my hand. Snap's pretty good. Snap is pretty darn good. I'll take that. So we're starting with Kroxa. Fine. Oh, I forgot Kroxa made me discard. It's actually kind of awkward. Oh no, I just mana leak it. What am I talking about? I don't discard because I'm countering it. Yes, yes. That is right. I guess I can actually drown. I can snap drown in the locket. It might be better. They do have exactly 2 things left. Sure, why not? It does cost 2, right? Yep, okay, just making sure. Just making sure. I clearly don't really understand how Drown in the Loch works as a card, so I need to make sure I get it right now. And we've got them under a pretty quick clock here. Ooh, Thoughtscour is also quite good. And we milled our own Croxa. Beautiful. And I can cast it next turn because I drew a red source. So this went great. If they lure us here, I still can use the mana leak, which is good. I mean, this is just a picking apart. Nothing they've done the entire game has mattered, essentially. Alright, Swift Spear's fine. Unexciting, but fine. I assume this is a defensive Swift Spear. That's not generally how you want your Swift Spears to be. I also don't really want to trade, because then they can cast Croxa, whereas they would not be able to otherwise. Yeah, let's not trade. Bring our Croxa back. So definitely the lands first, and then the counter spells. I guess Thoughtscour is value one of the bolts, and the Thoughtscour. Sure. So still not trading. If they want to chump attack into my Swift Spear, that's fine. Or into my Croxa, that's fine. I might not block. Alright, so they get to bring it back anyway. I was going to say, if like they have to pop Sunbait Canyon, they can't necessarily bring it back. There's a few reasons why they wouldn't be able to bring it back, but it does look like they can bring back Croxa here. Wait, what? Did I have like... Who do they bobble? Oh, I was drawing Fatal Push. Okay, that makes sense. They saw I was drawing the thing that killed them. That I was trying to figure out why, but yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, I agree. I don't think Force Negation is good at all against these kind of decks. I'm actually kind of starting to get a lot lower on Force Negation. This card is a really powerful card. It's super, super good in Modern, but the only deck I'm like really high on it against is like Tron. So I don't know, maybe I'm not supposed to go heavy on him. Interesting at any rate. Let's cut these Drown Locks. Drown Locks, like, I am bringing in Spellbombs, but I have Spellbomb and they have Croxa. It's still like pretty often going to be able to kill like a Shadow or a Swift Spear though, because it only requires one card in their graveyard. So maybe it's worth it. Yeah. Maybe it's Pyromancer I cut. Maybe just don't bring all the gusts. Like 3 gusts is good, and I'll have 1 leak. Alright. Playing a dangerous game with this Spellbomb Drown in the Loch combo. Very dangerous. Very, very dangerous. Hand seems decent. It's not spectacular, but If I draw spells, it should be pretty good. Or if I draw lands, I guess. Lands would also be quite good here, I imagine. Thought squeeze me? You got it. I imagine we're taking Snapcaster Mage, but I could see an argument for Thought Scour or Bolt. They took Croxa. Do they have Surgical in their hand? This makes a lot more sense if they have Surgical. Otherwise, taking the spell I couldn't cast that I wanted in my yard anyway makes not all that much sense. Yeah. Right, well, this is fine, I guess. Still don't really understand it, but, you know, here we are. Soul Guide Lantern, that makes sense. Now it makes sense. All it said, like, it's fine. It still, like, really doesn't matter. Croxa is a card in my deck. What? You kept a one-lander? And you went Thoughtseize into Soul Guide Lantern and didn't apply any pressure. Interesting.
Yeah, it's difficult to get on the point, you know, since they go up, people snap. You know, I'm actually going to the cost to get a shot.
Interesting. Fatal Push is a pretty good draw. I'm just going to pass. I could play the Spell Bomb here. But I don't really have any rush on it. I'm not Lurising anytime soon. I'd rather just Thought Scour and try to get another blue-red or blue-black land so that I can, you know, cast my spells better. A little choked on colors here. The Swift Spear, huh? So if they have like a mutagenic growth, this is kind of awkward. But I'd definitely rather use Bolt on Swift Spear because I need this one for the shadow creatures, I believe. Alright, that's a fine draw. Yeah, this worked out pretty nicely, actually. So gonna play the Spell Bomb now. Unclear whether I pop it. I probably am supposed to wait until they get towards a Croxa, so I can just eat more of their yard resources. Yeah, I'm still just gonna keep waiting. I think this game's mostly over, honestly. Opponent just kept a one-lander and hasn't drawn a land, and like they're only like a 19 or 20 land deck or something, so they're not all that likely. Although we're a 24 land deck and we've drawn, you know, we played games here we drew land every single turn for the entire game. But such is life. This is fine. I mean, my hand's like really redundant between Snapcaster and K Command, so it's like, I guess you're taking K Command, but it's alright, Snapcaster it is. So you're gonna let me get a clean 2 from with my K Command, fair enough. Probably supposed to take K Command there. Let's just get this Snapcaster back. I mean, fair enough. You do you, main. Alright, so I am going to start by popping the Spell Bomb here. I just want to just keep getting ahead. I have Luris for these 2 Spell Bombs at some point in the future, so I should be able to deal with Croxas for the most part. I was probably supposed to make them discard first, though, but I just was. It's not super debatable. No, they conceded. Alright, fair enough. Alright, last round here. Let's see if we can get a 4-1. A 4-1 here would be great. Especially because round 1 was close. It wasn't. We got destroyed. Yeah, this hand is fine-ish. Blue source away from casting a bunch of cryptics, but we're on the play, which is nice. Opponent's on 5. Alright, so like probably Dredge or Tron. Anytime someone's like mulling hard, they're Dredge or Tron. You just always assume one of these things is the case. I'm going to play Scalding Tarn and pass. Doing it, yeah, Dredge, okay. Not surprised. I guess I should be. Oh, Croxa looks heinous now. But maybe young Pyromancer can do enough. We have the main deck spell bombs. It could happen. We could draw them. Spellbomb deck? No. Never. It's always there. The spellbomb always shows up when you have the Drown in the Loch in your hand and never when you play against Dredge. Always. 100% of the time. Alright, Blood Gas. That's probably not a big deal. We're probably not just really cold to Dredge at all points in time ever. Those are bad mills, though. Yeah, I mean, they get to put a lot of power in play, but this is not a particularly strong Dredge start. Necessarily. Chose not to use Bloodgrist? Why? Oh, because they have prize amalgams. That makes sense. Yeah, this is going really bad for me. Holy cow. No, we're dead. Super dead. Alright. Well, this is pretty classic. Whenever I play against Dredge, they do tend to have about 10 power in play on turn 2. Oh, there's the Force Negation that you really want to use on the Cathartic Reunions they cast. That's good. It's a good draw. Yep. Oh, there you have it. Dredge coming out, delivering the beatdowns. I could maybe have kept fighting. They just had all of the things. I mean, it was a pretty ideal Dredge draw. But we got game post board. Fatal Push stinks. Croxa's like pretty bad too. Loch also kind of bad. Also don't really like Mana Leak. Maybe Drown's better than Bolt. Bolts are like pretty bad actually. Yeah, I'll try that. Cleansing Wildfire like can be good. I'll have 2 Croxes, I guess. Crox is not good, but it's like maybe just necessary. It's so awkward it lets him put Dredgers in the graveyard though. Holy cow. Alright. Probably should have a 4th spell bomb, realistically. Well, we've got a spell bomb. We have no blue sources and a cryptic in hand, so that's a little awkward. But we have spell bomb, so yeah. Turn 1 Nature's Claim me? No, Shriekhorn. That's thank God. So we're pretty sad if I got Nature's Claim. Alright, so drawing blue sources would be good here. I'll say that much. Not a blue source, but also not terrible. So their hand's kind of garbage. I do think I take the Cathartic Reunion though. And I do need to save life because I'm kind of sitting at like a virtual 4 right now, given that they always have 3... Or they always have 4 creeping chills, and you always get hit by all of them because they see their whole deck. Well, there we go. So Blood Crypt's gone, Shriekhorn's gone. I know they have Ox, and they also dredge. What did they dredge? Golgari Thug. So their hand is Forgotten Cave, Ox, Ox, Golgari Thug. Fair. Does K Command do anything? I think it just puts the... I mean, like, killing their Shriekhorn is, like, kind of good. But, like, yeah, mostly it just doesn't do anything. Maybe, like, end of turn it'll do something. But then, like, yeah, destroying the artifact is just not good either. Yeah, this is not good. This, yeah. May as well just let the Shriekhorns run out at this point. They have Leyline of Sanctities. But they don't get to dredge, right? I'm gonna pop now, I think. This might be wrong. I think it's reasonable here. Perfect. I was just hoping to draw a land that didn't have blue, that didn't make blue mana. I was thinking that'd be really good here. I can't at least use Damnation now, which could be relevant. So they still have Ox, Ox, and Golgari Thug, but they had to draw naturally for turn, so they don't have. Yeah. Well, it's not terrible. The good news is I get to get Luris here and start using. Oh my god, there's so many zones! How many zones do we need? Zones everywhere! I can start recurring Spellbomb next turn, which is what's important here. They don't have any dredging going on. They only get 2 more looks at a dredger, too. So if they hit here, it's pretty annoying. Perfect. They hit the actual best one. Not a big deal. At least the dredge was bad. There is that. It was not a good dredge, particularly. Yep. No, you got it. You got it. I say it might be better to fetch an island, but no. I think it's better to cast Luris and get to draw my card. And they can't really mill here, so... I do think I pass. Yeah, their hand right now is Ox, Ox, and Golgari Thug. No, I'm supposed to do this, actually. So if they draw untapped land, which isn't the case because a decent amount of lands are tapped. They have like Dakmor Selvage and Forgotten Cave. They can Ox. They drew Creeping Chill. Okay. Very good. Attacking with Stinkweed Imp is wild. I have Luris. That cannot be right. I was going to say, yeah, they conceded. It didn't matter because I had K-Command too, so I can, like, make them discard K-Command and still, like, keep Nile spellbombing them. Do we want to change anything with what we've seen thus far? Croxa still seems really bad. It's probably worse than Mana Leak. And my win count is probably just Spellbomb plus Luris. That actually seems somewhat effective. Not great, but, like, marginally effective, which is better than how effective most of what else I'm doing is. K-Command also seemed awful. I think I'm going to bring in Drown instead. Drown's probably going to be live most of the time. They do tend to have many cards in their graveyard. So we've entered into a very counterspell heavy plan, which against Dredge isn't generally the way to go, but you know, if we have a Spellbomb in our opening hand, this hand just is not going to cut it. Way too slow against Dredge. This hand has a Spellbomb in it. I accept. Snapcaster Mate seems pretty bad here, so I'm going to do that. Opponent's on 5. So if we can draw a black source, we got it. We got a shot. Leyline of Sanctity? Huh. My Nile Spellbomb now doesn't do anything. So that's awkward. I thought about him that. Yeah. When I get to 4, I can bounce the Leyline and they can't recast it. So at some point, the Nile Spellbomb will be on. And if they're not doing... Like, if they're not Cathartic Reunion here, I think I have a shot. They just, like, milled to Leyline. That's fine. Or mold to Leyline. I want black here. Force is also, like, fine. I'd like to draw lands, obviously. But it's, like, fine. It seems like they kept a pretty bad hand. From what I can tell here so far. And honestly, I think pretty clear just cast Snapcaster and start beating down situation going on here. Let's get the beats going. Land. Beautiful. Question is, do I play the Spellbomb? I probably do. Yeah, it's probably worth having. I can't really use it, but also if they have like a Nature's Claim and they destroy it, I do get to draw a card, so I think it's probably worth doing that. I can also sacrifice it and exile my own graveyard, and that does work. Is this a Cathartic Reunion? Oh, beautiful. I'm going to go ahead and Aether Gust that. And that would be a spectacular turn to draw a blue source off the top right here. Blue source? No. Okay, command also doesn't work. Awkward. Very awkward. Deck, blue source. I need it now. The blue source deck. Give it to me. I'm going to Force of Negation this. Hardcast, of course. Deck, blue source me. I need it. If I get a blue source here, I am just going to bounce this and immediately pop this, and then an opponent is left with 2 lands, a Leyline of Sanctity in hand, and nothing in their yard, which would be insane. Deck, blue source. You have given me so many games where I drew every land in the deck. Can I just get it once? Please? In a bad matchup, please? So we wanted blue source. Instead, we drew 4-drop. We can't cast, which is not ideal, as it turns out. Deck. Why? Why are you like this? Alright, do your worst. Which, for the record, almost certainly includes putting an Ox of Agonis in play this turn. One, two, three, four, five, six. No, they're one short. So I have a chance. They also... No, they milled a Dredger. Deck, blue source, please. We need it. We need it now. Deck. Just... Why? Wait, didn't they mill Creeping Chill? Why didn't it trigger? Oh no, that was one they discarded to the Cathartic Reunion. I was thinking from the... Yeah, okay, we're good. Good. I imagine they're going to dredge Blood or Golgari Thug here instead of naturally drawing. And then I think they end up casting Ox, and then I can Mana Leak it, which is good. And we're still just, you know, 5 turns in a row. Blue source would always be pretty good. Yeah. Yep. Deck, one time. Give me blue source. I don't ask for that many things. Just want a blue source. Oh my god. Okay. Alright. We're good. Everything's fine. Opponent's still stumbling. We're just going to keep putting pressure out there. Keep beating down. Yep. Yep. Nope, that's what we're going to do. They don't get to dredge this turn, so they're naturally drawing. Drawing a land would be a little annoying, but Bloodghast can't block, and they're on a 2-turn clock, so if we ever draw a blue source, the game's over. Deck, blue source me. One time, please. Oh my god. Maybe I can draw it off this? No, I'm going to mill 2. You better believe Thoughtscour's milling 2 blue sources. No, I milled 2 blue spells. Alright, Thoughtscour actually did something relevant. Very good. I accept. I'm going to play another spellbomb. I'm probably popping it on myself end of turn because opponent is still just dead to blue source. They're dead to a few things, but... That was probably a decent draw. Although, if their turn looks like hard cast Stinkweed Imp, which is certainly... I mean, I know it's one of the cards in their hand, so it's certainly something they could have on their radar here. Oh, actually, they're at 2, so they're just dead to the K command. Oh, no, I can't target them. I have lied. Oh, they were still just dead on board because they had a shock. We beat Dredge! 4-1 with Grixis Pile! Let's go! Let's go. So, wrap up on this. I feel like there was some better things happening here. I'm going to be honest, the Nile Spellbomb Drown in the Loch combo was not a combo. As it turns out, it was pretty bad. But I still feel like there's something here. It's playing a bunch of good cards. Factor Fiction and Kroxa is a thing. That was powerful in spots. The deck needs more tuning. But I think you can find something here that works. I think maybe my next course of action is to try like no Force of Negations or Force of Negation in the sideboard maybe. Maybe go like a lower curve Young Pyromancer deck. That's interesting to me, I think. I think that's certainly something this deck could try to consider. Yeah, so I think I'm going to look in that direction next with it. But I'm starting to feel decent about this. It looks like it's there. I don't ever think it's really going to be better than blue-white. I think just not getting to play like the busted Planeswalkers, aka Teferi or Renin 6, makes this a little like just not a great choice for Modern. I think I think if you want to play a controlling style deck in Modern, you should definitely have Teferi or Wrenn and 6 in it, and in some cases both, because those cards are just ridiculous. They're just some of the best cards left in Modern. But Crocs is still good. We saw it there. It was very powerful, and the deck felt like it was doing some really good things. So I think there's something to be said for how good the deck is. But yeah, I don't know. Still work to be done. It doesn't feel like it's all the way there, but it feels like we're making progress, which is cool. It's definitely going to have some really good matchups. I think the control matchup for round 1 looked a lot worse than it should be with this deck. This deck should actually be pretty good against control. I think opponent just had much better draws than me. I think my draws were subpar in that matchup, and that wasn't really representative of how this deck should be, because this deck should be great against control. I have a lot of instant speed card draw. I have resilient threats in Croxa. I have threats that leave behind a lot of value in Young Pyromancer and Luris, and I have ways to recur those threats with Kolaghan's Command at instant speed, so I can play around Force Negation pretty well. And I even have Thoughtseize post board, and even Lightning Bolt is good. So I don't know, maybe I played the matchup bad. Maybe I can go back and look at it and figure that out or something. But it feels like it should be better than it looked. But yeah, I like the direction this is headed. I definitely feel like this is an improvement over the last deck. I don't know how good the archetype ends up being in particular, but it feels like we're making progress. So I'm happy with where we're at now, but we're going to keep working on it. Remember, if you like the content we're making here, please like and subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate it if you would. Also, remember to leave comments with decks you'd like to see in future videos. If something, I don't do every single one that people do, but I'd like to try to do them. And if something, really looks sweet, I'm definitely going to try to play it. So just let me know. And with that, talk to you next time.
I'm joined by Kyle Balgamase. Welcome, Kyle.
How are you?
Raja Suleiman with Orzhov.
Max McVitie.
Congratulations, Brian DeMars.
Zach Allen.
I wouldn't be here without these guys, though. So.
And the champion of Proto Kanzatake, Relax.